Hi guys, Zach here with another Command and Conquer Red Alert video. In this game I'm playing a 2v2 match on the map Arena Valley Extreme. I'm playing in the Soviets and starting in the top left hand corner. This is a replay match. I wasn't recording at the time, so this is after the game was played. I am playing on my alternative account, Jack the Ripper, which is the account I usually use when I'm streaming and sometimes when I'm playing quick match and trying new things. In this multiplayer match, the aftermath units are switched on, and that does affect the nation I'm going to pick. On Arena Valley Extreme, when the aftermath units are switched off, I usually like to pick allies, and allies are a popular choice on this map, and it's because of the tank mobility. The light tanks are very fast, the medium tanks are also faster than heavy tanks, and they're very good for early attacks. And as anyone who plays multiplayer will know, if they play Arena Valley Extreme, that you do have a lot of tank battles, and a lot of tank battles happen early on this map. It is also one of the quick match maps which players can play on, and I do think allies do have the advantage on this map, but that is under different conditions to this game. What you tend to notice with aftermath units being switched on is that many more players will start to pick Soviets. So what does aftermath units change? Well, first of all, you have to look at the units which you get, extra units. Allies get chrono tanks, I think, which can appear at different parts of the map, any part of the map you want, and you can make them disappear and reappear. Also, they get demolition trucks, which blow up in the opponent's base. And you also get mechanics, which can repair vehicles. The Soviets get something called shock troopers. They're very slow moving infantry, but what those infantry can do is they can fire Tesla. They also get missile subs, which aren't going to be any use on this map. They get mad tanks, which can blow up in opponents' bases, and there's probably some other things they get. One of the big changes though with aftermath units being switched on is that the building speed is different. When you have aftermath units switched off, what happens is you build a war factory, you build a second war factory, and it doubles your tank building speed. However, with aftermath, when you build more war factories, if aftermath units is switched off, that's going to continue to increase tank building speed. If you do it with aftermath units switched off, it has absolutely zero effect. So I built 2 war factories now. I'm at my maximum tank building speed. I can't increase my tank building speed any further by building more war factories, so there's not really much point. And that's where it comes to the infantry units. Because if you have a great economy, if you have a booming economy, and you're at your maximum tank building speed, what can you spend that extra ore on? Well, one of the main things is going to be, if it's a land map, it's going to be troops from the barracks. So you have to look at what troops you can build. With Soviets, you can build shock troopers. With allies, you can just build, you can build a mechanic to repair tanks, but you're not going to build a lot of them. You can build infantrymen or rocket men. So what's the difference between shock troopers and these other infantry units? Well, one of the big differences is that they can't be squashed. Tanks cannot run over shock troopers. I think they're the only infantry unit that can't be squashed. They also have a very high damage output. So tanks can shoot the shock troopers, but as you know, tanks probably don't do that much damage, a great deal of damage to infantry units. So shock troopers, when aftermath units are switched on, give people Soviet players a big advantage, because they are very, very effective. And we're seeing Cyan coming down now, and this is the first attack of the game, so it looks like Cyan are going to have an attack on the player playing as Red. And we can see, I think Red has quite a few tanks here. You can see he does have a few tanks, probably a few more than Cyan. And you can see Cyan here has been caught napping. He's not watching, and he's going to lose most of those tanks. He's losing all his tanks very quickly, and he's only just realised, and now he's only got 5 tanks left. So that's really costly for Cyan. That was a big, big mistake there. And this puts Cyan in a very, very difficult position. So let's see, are Red going to counter? And they stopped there. And that's probably a bit of a mistake from Red. They probably should have kept on pushing forwards. They've been attacked. And you probably should chase your opponent, because certainly Cyan and my allies were on the back foot there. Right, so I'm bringing my tanks down. I've also got infantry riflemen mixed with them, and I've also got some shock troopers. And I'm just pulling back here because I want to regroup a little bit, because I notice that the odds aren't in my favour at the moment. Now, I actually counted the tanks we had at this point. At the moment, I've got 20 heavy tanks, and my opponent has about 27 heavy tanks. So he outnumbers me in heavy tanks, but what have I got as well as heavy tanks? I've got infantrymen, riflemen, and I've also got those shock troopers. So we're going to see just how effective it is mixing in infantrymen with tanks in this next battle. The thing about shock troopers is you can see them at the back there. They are very slow moving, so they do take a while to get into the battle, but we're going to challenge him now. So you can see he's realised this straight away, and we're going to be moving around. We're going to be holding down Y when we fight this battle, you know, and targeting specific tanks at a time. And we can see that Yellow he does have a lot of tanks. He has more than me at the moment. He's moving his tanks around. He's squashing some of my infantrymen, and I think my infantrymen are practically all gone at the moment. But you can see my shock troopers are in there, and you can see the firing Tesla. You can see those little bolts of lightning bolts coming from them. And at the moment, it's looking pretty good. Tank numbers look about even now, and now it looks like I've got the upper hand, and it looks like the yellow team are going to be cleared up. So that was 20 tanks versus 27, but I had troopers with them. And the number of tanks I've got left is 10. Okay, some of them are on low HP, but I've entered that battle. In terms of tanks, I've been outnumbered, but I've come out with half my tanks still alive. So that just shows how effective it is mixing these infantry in with your tanks. And you can see again, when destroying buildings, Tesla troops do a great deal of damage, and they're just falling apart very, very quickly. And there's Tesla coils there. They will do some damage to Tesla troops. I imagine they can one-shot them. We'll get rid of them pretty quickly. And you can see Red's actually having to go and help now. And this is very good for us, because what we want to do is we want to keep Red occupied on the left-hand side of the map, rather than going to my teammate on the right side of the map. Just give my teammate a little bit of a helping hand. And I'm just pulling back for now because I have hardly any tanks left. And you can see that Yellow has in fact got another MCV, and he's just deployed it in his ally's base, in his teammate's base. So he does have a MCV there, and he's going to be building back up his base. So it's not over yet. Now the thing is, because I'm building Tesla troops as well as tanks, I'm at the maximum tank building speed, so my opponents are building tanks at the same rate, but I'm going to be able to build up a bigger army much quicker, because I've got Tesla troops mixed in with them, whereas they've only got tanks. So yeah, it's crazy not to build Tesla troops if you can, because it's just more units. Oh, okay, as long as you need the economy to match it, but you should be building basically ore refineries a lot of the time, making sure you have plenty of ore. And you can see that Yellow and Red aren't paying too much attention here, and I'm just cleaning up the units quite easily. Because yeah, obviously when you're moving tanks around, they take a lot less damage, and I should be able to get rid of these buildings pretty quickly. And you can see my Tesla troop mass is building quite nicely at the moment. I've got quite a lot there, and that's going to make it a very, very formidable force. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to push to the right. In hindsight, I probably should have taken the radar dome out. It would have given my opponents less visibility, but Yellow aren't my real concern at this point. They're going to be struggling quite a bit. You can see my ally Cyan, my teammate Cyan, they don't have too much at the base right at the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and put a bit of pressure on Red, make them fight on the left-hand side rather than focus on the other side. And you can see they've got quite a few tanks here, probably about an equal number of tanks to me, and maybe even a few more now that are coming in. But you can see as soon as the Tesla troops get in range, they're just taking them down very, very easily. And this is putting me in a very, very strong position. We're all playing Soviets, so all units, all players have access to these troops. And you can see that Red does have Tesla coils. You do need to build a Tesla coil before you can build Tesla troops. I know Yellow had Tesla coils in their base, Red have Tesla coils in their base, so they can both build the troops if they want to. And we're just trying to take those Tesla coils out first, because they do a lot of damage, but they don't have that good HP. And you can see Red's got a few more tanks there, but it's looking very, very good. And I can see on the radar that Cyan are coming down also from the other side, so this is looking very good for us at the moment. And you can see Red's tanks are gone. Now, one thing I'm probably going to want to keep away from with Tesla troops is flamethrowers. Because flamethrowers do a lot of damage to infantry. And I imagine it'd be the same for Tesla troops. They also do area damage, so it's not like other things that can just damage one target at a time. Like, that's what Tesla coils do. Flamethrowers do a lot of area damage. So I'm going to want to keep those Tesla troops away from the flamethrowers. And you can see that Cyan, what are they using? They're using Tesla troops along with the tanks. And yeah, now we're both attacking. And you can see Yellow is bringing tanks against them. And they're just being ripped apart. And this is looking, and pretty much I think you can see it's pretty much over from now on. It's just going to be a case of destroying the buildings. And yeah, that's basically going to be it. So yeah, if you are playing Soviets and you do have aftermath units switched on, do build Tesla troops. It's going to help you an awful lot. Obviously tanks should be your main focus at the start. Build your heavy tanks, get 2 war factories, but after your 2 war factories you're at maximum tank building speed, so you don't need to build any more. And then you can build a Tesla coil, and as soon as you build a Tesla coil, shock troopers will become available from the barracks, and you can start building them provided you have the ore to do so. So just make sure you build enough ore refineries, get enough ore trucks, and you can start producing shock troopers. And that should be your primary focus. Once you have a constant supply of heavy tanks and shock troopers building constantly, that's going to put you in a very, very strong position. And you can see now I'm placing my MCV down there. I think it was just to build some Tesla coils, some base defences, just at their base. And yeah, you can see they're constantly producing heavy tanks, but as soon as they build the heavy tanks and take them in, they're just absolutely no match when you've got shock troopers mixed in with your heavy tanks. And I'm now just going for the flamethrowers. I know it's over. My shock troopers are usually held back a little bit. They are very slow moving, so they do take a while to get to places. And yeah, this is pretty much the game over. Yellow did do a good job of building heavy tanks, because they had, remember, in our early battle they did have a few more heavy tanks than I did. But the infantrymen do make a difference, so do use them. And that's really why allies aren't really picked with aftermath units switched on, because they don't really have a good infantry unit. Okay, the units, the riflemen can be very good early on, but as soon as the opponents get lots of tanks, when you've got numerous tanks, the riflemen, the rocket men just get squashed. The Tesla troops don't. Right, and now we're just taking out the last few things of red. We're going to take out the power plants first, because that's going to turn off the power to the Tesla coils, so they won't be able to fire anymore. And you can see they're not working now. And we're taking out his last power plant, and you can see that red is now selling up. Right, that's the game over. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video.